कर दिया है. We can start our prayers. Okay. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram. आपको लोग can't hear you on.
Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram
शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं. साथ में करते.
हाँ जी, शंकरम शंकर गुरु में एक साथ करते हैं.
हाँ वही मैं बोल रही हूँ. शंकरम
शंकराचार्यम केशवम
बादरायणं
सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ
वंदे भगवन्तो पुनः पुनः. सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम्
वन्दे
वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्.
ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति
मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः.
चलो. श्रीहरिं परमानन्दम्
श्रीहरिं परमानन्दम्
उपदेष्टारमीश्वरम्
उपदेष्टारमीश्वरम्
व्यापकं सर्वलोकानां
व्यापकं सर्वलोकानां
कारणं तं नमाम्यहम्.
कारणं तं नमाम्यहम्.
अभी हम जाएंगे वर्स नंबर 13. अने कोहम ना वो वाले. okay. कोहम कथमिदं जातम. नंबर 12.
कोहम कथमिदं जातम्
को वै कर्तास्य विद्यते.
को वै कर्तास्य विद्यते.
उपादानं किमस्तीह.
उपादानं किमस्तीह.
विचारसोऽयमीदृशः.
विचारसोऽयमीदृशः.
नाहं भूतगणो देहः.
नाहं भूतगणो देहः.
नाहं चाक्षगणस्तथा.
नाहं चाक्षगणस्तथा.
एतद्विलक्षणः कश्चित्.
एतद्विलक्षणः कश्चित्.
विचारसोऽयमीदृशः.
विचारसोऽयमीदृशः.
Yes. Okay. So, oh my God, Swamiji ka. Okay. कोहम, that is we have, अब हम लोग पेज नंबर 134. फिर स्वामी जी ने उसमें लिया था कि कोहम, what is the nature of I, and Swamiji said usually we have many notions about I, where we attribute all the qualities, we attribute the body and the mind to I, the attributes of the body and mind to I. Not only that, whatever roles we have, even that we go and dump on I, iti. So Swamiji points out that these cannot be my Swarupa. On page 135 on the last line, he says each role displaces the other and therefore this cannot be my Swarupa. Because in Vedanta, ek vastu we say again and again, what is real? Only real is my Swarupa. So Swarupa means that which persists, which is there at all times, and it is not going to change. That alone can be my Swarupa. Whereas all these things, as Swamiji has said in that, sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm unhappy. So that's this changing nature of the mind. Sometimes my body is fat, sometimes it's thin. Again, changing nature of the body. Iti. And then again, he goes deeper. He goes to Karta Bhokta. He says, sometimes I am Karta, I am the agent. But then again, sometimes I am the Bhokta. When I am the Bhokta, I am not the Karta. When I am the Karta, I am not the Bhokta. Iti. So this goes on. And then again, when I'm playing roles with the world also, it keeps on changing. And one displaces the other. So it doesn't persist. Therefore, it can't be my Swarupa. Okay. And Swarupa is also one Satya. What is the truth about oneself, which is not changing. Okay. Then what is the nature of the world? Is it? Okay. So that we saw there's nothing much in that. Where does this world, which is Thavara Jangam, where does it come from? So we ask, where does the world come from? What is the nature of the world? So we are not taking the materialist view of the world. We are saying that Ishvara is required. Okay. Kartu Agnyaya Prapyate Phalam Karma Kim Param Karma Tad Jadam. Because karma by itself is Jadam. Therefore, Ishvara also we say Ishvara is the creator from one standpoint of the universe, is the Nimitta Karana. But what does he require? He requires the material of the karma of the jivas to be able to create, which we will see in the next verse. Okay. We are not going to look at this materialist view of this thing. Then in verse number 13 on page 140, there came the real, now really Vedanta has started, where it is made very clear in this verse that the subject is not the object. Very important, Atma and Atma Viveka has started, and where it is very interesting, subject is not the object, but it is not said that the object is not the subject. Atma and Anatma. Anatma is different from Atma. Means Atma is different from Anatma. True. But Anatma is not different from Atma, that we will see later. At this moment, Naham Bhuta Gano Deha. So I am not this body which is made of elements. I am not the sense organs. In fact, I am Vilakshanaha. I am completely different and actually independent. So I had made a diagram that may be for the next verse. Okay, we'll keep it this thing. So here is the very important thing which we cannot miss, like last time I was telling you the fundamental error that we make. The fundamental error that we make is I am the subject, but I take myself to be the object. So this is what is the very important thing that we make clear initially. Yeah. What is the logic? Drishyatvat. I am not the object. The object is something which is perceived. I am the perceiver. Okay. So then, etad vilakshana kaschita, I am completely different from the physical body and the subtle body. Iti. Then Swamiji came to the very important point. The problem is always centered on I. Okay? Here you can see on page 142, on the problem is always centered on I, and there in the second paragraph, very nice things are said over there, where Swamiji says, body becomes a problem only when I call the body as I. Otherwise, body is not a problem, it's a thing like anything else. But the moment I lump the body together with the I, then it can make me miserable, because body has got its own problems. And therefore then I will take those problems as my problems. Iti. Look at this very nice line that he says, they are already separate, but it is only by ignorance that we lump them together. I is separate, body is separate, they are already separate. But only because of ignorance, we are lumping them together. Thus, the vichara consists of separating the I from the not I. Because we are lumping them together, therefore we need to separate it. Then a very beautiful thing he said, somebody may call you selfish ke pura din baith ke padhai karte ho, and you're not contributing in the world, and you're not doing this and you're not doing that. Then Swamiji makes a very nice point which I missed last time because I was sleepy. He says, because what are we studying about? We are studying about the self. Is it the individual self that we are studying? No, we are studying about the universal self. So when we are studying about the universal self and coming to know about the universal self, then that is a contribution to all. Iti, because the self is universal. This inquiry is therefore a contribution to the self of all on page 143 in the second paragraph towards the end. When it involves Atma, the self whose well-being one is seeking, it is not the individual self, it is the universal self, the self of all. This inquiry is therefore a contribution to the self of all. Iti. Okay. Then he just brings this point which we know, that vichara is primarily negating what I am not, because that lumping together is there, therefore negating what I am not. Now here I wanted to make a point that just because we negate in our mind, supposing a person comes to me and says, you know, who's studying Vedanta, okay, person who's studying Vedanta comes and says, you know, I've studied so much of Vedanta and I can understand, you know, I understand everything, but you know, I feel sad. I have a lot of sadness. So I'm not saying that the sadness will go away immediately or anything. No. But where is the sadness? Is the sadness in the consciousness that you are, or is the sadness in the mind? Somebody else says that I am very restless. So where is the sadness? Is consciousness restless, or is restlessness there in the mind? Oh, I'm very discontented. Okay, where is the discontentment? Is it in the mind or is it in the consciousness? Iti. So one needs to be able to discriminate where it is. I'm not saying it will go away. It will still be there, but as long as you're not lumping it with I and saying, I am discontented, I am sad. Sadness is a vritti. A vritti has come of sadness. And actually, if you go and look at world news, you will feel sad only. In the world, when we go and look at the news, na dukhi hota hai. Har jagah pe there is a problem. So much of war and fighting and hate and whatnot is going on. So naturally, as an empathetic person, you will feel sad. But where is that sadness? That sadness is at one place. It is a vritti which is occurring in the mind. But is the consciousness that I am, can it be sad? That kind of discrimination we will have to do. Okay. Then as we keep doing that over a period of time, it becomes very, very clear that the consciousness that I am is not sadness. Okay. So we may, otherwise there will be a lot of internal this thing. Ha, Vedanta is saying this, पर मेरे अंदर में तो ये वृत्ति आती है, मेरे अंदर तो ये वृत्ति आती है. That the vritti is coming is definitely connected to identification. Yeah. But still, if we are able to separate and see what belongs where, then the suffering will become much, much less. It is very different, you know, to say that I am sad versus sadness is there in my mind. The two different statements. One is factual. Yes, sadness vritti is there in my mind. And the other is, I am sad. And luckily, because of so much of Vedanta, we know sadness is a vritti. Now, the beauty of Vedanta, let me tell you one more thing. These are all the subtle points. Okay, so we have I am sad. Let me go to my whiteboard. I made a nice distance between them. So, what is I am?
Sad.
No.
Conscious.
I am conscious.
Yeah. So, I am C. Okay. I am consciousness. And this sadness is it subject or object?
Object.
It is object. Okay. And this is the subject. Now, because of Vedanta, what do I know? That I am consciousness, okay, which is vast, has no boundary. Because whatever belongs to the mind doesn't belong to consciousness. So I know that I am consciousness that is vast. And now, in a way, I can say that I can give compassionate space to the sadness in my mind. I can just be there as a compassionate witness of the sadness which is there, or the restlessness, or the discontentment, or anger will not allow one to be a compassionate witness, but sadness and grief will definitely allow one. Meaning you're just there allowing that feeling to be there, allowing, you're not trying to get rid of it. There's no denying. Okay, no denying. No denying. In fact, you're allowing. You're allowing the sadness to be there. You know what happens when you do that? You're just there lending presence. You're just there giving compassion. You're just compassionately present to your emotion. The beauty about vrittis is that vrittis don't stay for long. वृत्ति आएगी, परेशान करेगी और जाएगी. And you are there watching that vritti, वो आ रही है, वो परेशान कर रही है, you are watching it compassionately और वो जाती है. It doesn't last. Like anything else in this world, the sad vritti also does not last. It may initially the sadness may be there for longer periods, but it can't last forever. Something else will come and replace it. And because you are allowing yourself to be there as a compassionate witness, this becomes even more clear to you that I am the witness. And these are things which come and go in my mind. Many vrittis, sometimes happy vritti, sometimes sad vritti, sometimes this kind of vritti, that kind of vritti. Something will come and go in the mind. So you allow. Okay. Usually what happens if there is a sadness or any vritti which we don't like, we distract. That's also okay. Only thing is if you distract, with knowledge, then it's fine. If you distract yourself without knowledge, then you will keep on distracting yourself. You can get addicted. People they get into addictions because they're constantly distracting themselves from facing their feelings. Iti. So we don't want to distract. We can distract as long as we know that I am distracting myself. If you know you're distracting yourself, go ahead and distract yourself. No problem. But if you are distracting yourself without knowing and you're imagining that you are getting some sukha from something, then that is again error. So better is whatever emotions are there in the mind, don't deny them. It's okay if they are there. Anyway, they don't belong to you. No, it's so nice. You can still say, oh my God, I'm like the crystal. You remember the story of the crystal? In front of the crystal, you put any color. The crystal looks like it's blue. The crystal looks like it's black. The crystal looks like it's green. But in
Just
your
you showed us in class. One
yeah,
class,
but
I
you
remember,
remember, but
yes.
if you in your mind, if you know that this is crystal and this is only cloth, actually nothing is happening to the crystal. This is what the knowledge does for us. Nothing is happening to the consciousness that I am. Yeah, sad vritti is there, discontented vritti is there. These are all coming from the past. When ignorance was there, it is all a pile up from the past. It is there. Let it be there. ठीक है भाई. If it is too heavy, then distract yourself. No problem. Gulab jamun खा लो. Iti, yeah. So not to take it seriously. You don't take it seriously anymore. You say, yeah, it is vritti, it is coming, it will go. Aaya hai, aayega, jayega. Iti. Sometimes some heavy moods come on us, no? So then when we take it seriously, then becomes a problem. You say, no, theek hai, aaya hai, jayega. It's a Aya Ram, Gaya Ram. Yeah? Okay. I just suddenly, when I was going over this class, I thought I must mention that point. So here Swamiji is saying, Vichara is primarily negating what I am not. Okay. Then that whole snake thing has come. The snake thing is a very good example, no? That this is, when I see a rope and I say this is a snake, on page 144 at the end he's saying, yeah, very beautiful. You say this is a snake. So he points out that when you say this is a snake, actually the this is part is correct. So when you say I am sad, the I am part is correct. I am, okay, let's look at this. I am. I have not looked, I'm just, this is something I'm trying out just now, okay? The I am part, like in this is snake, okay? This is, and here is snake. Now the snake part is wrong, because what is there is rope. But the this is part belongs to the rope, right? In the same way, if we are putting this sentence, I am sad, we cannot put sad along with I am. That is wrong. The I am can only go along with Satchidananda. I'm putting SCA. That I am is wrongly understood as sad. It's very important, I am sad, when we say the sadness is in the case of the snake is completely imagined. But here, let us say the sadness is a vritti in the mind. But to say I am and to add that sadness to I am, this is what Shastra is saying is wrong. Because the I am is actually Satchidananda. It is consciousness that is completely free. So if I say I am sad, that statement is error. Yeah, because the sad part of it doesn't belong to I am. Absolutely doesn't belong to I am. In a Gauna Roop, you can say, I am sad. Once you understand this and you say, I am sad, it is okay. But without understanding, if you say, that means you're thinking that you really are sad. That means the consciousness that you are is sad, which is sad. Huh? Which is sad, meaning which is wrong. So this is the fine tuning, of our thinking. Objections I'm waiting for. Any objections? Yeah.
Guruma,
Hmm.
I am sad.
Hmm.
This connection, this
Hmm.
has been since long,
Yeah,
many
absolutely.
years,
Absolutely correct.
many births.
Many births.
How one can separate?
How one
By
can separate?
repeatedly seeing this, repeatedly, again and again and again. Again and again and again, shifting the I to where it belongs. Again and again. So as I said, if we put it in a lighter tone, don't take it seriously. You don't take it so seriously. Because we all have sadness. For some reason or the other, there is sadness in everyone's heart. That sadness, we are not denying the sadness. I'm not denying the sad. I'm only denying the I am sad.
I am.
The sadness in the heart is there because ignorance was there, Because ignorance was there. Supposing, let's take, ignorance was there. Here is this, supposing this girl, like, oh, some young girl is there. She's not getting married. Yeah. So then she says, I am sad because I don't have a husband or I don't have children or whatever she wants. So that's the conclusion she has come to. I am sad. Yeah. Now she comes to Vedanta. Yeah.
Yes.
She has already concluded that the I that is there is sad. So how are we going to remove this from her head?
She has to separate I from mind.
Absolutely.
वो कैसे एकदम नहीं
बार
आया
बार कहे।
नहीं, ये तो बस hypothetical case है. इसलिए what she will do, what we will help her to do. Now let's do that. Okay? Which was going to come later. But what we will help her to do. Okay, we will say I. Go away. I. Okay, and this one is mind. Okay. So let's look at the qualities of the mind. I'll call it body mind. Body has got birth. This is C. I is equal to C. Consciousness. Okay. Body has got birth. Then what else is there?
6 vikaras.
Object. Yeah, it is subject to 6 vikaras. So birth means all of those 6 vikaras. Okay. Birth plus 6. Huh? Body has got attributes. It's object, so naturally it will have attributes. A body mind. We are taking both body mind together. Has got changes. It is dependent. This will have to be explained a little bit. This dependent point is very important. Huh? Two points here are very important. Dependent and temporary. Now, dependent means what? There are two types of dependence. One is, of course, body is dependent on the food, it's dependent on water, it's dependent on air, it's dependent on so many. So I call it as local factors. Mind also. Okay, local factors. Mind also depends on what kind of childhood you had, what kind of experiences you've had in your life, etc. Mind and body are dependent on lot of local factors. Totally dependent. They are not independent at all. They're completely dependent. Very important. Eh? Other type of independence is they don't shine on their own. They need the presence of consciousness. Okay? So what shall we call it? Dependent on consciousness. They are dependent on C. Therefore itself we call the body mind, because of this factor that it is depending on consciousness to present itself and to show itself, it is called as jadam. The body and mind are called as jada because they don't illumine themselves. They are not self-illumining. They require the presence of consciousness.
Goodness.
Yeah. Therefore, body mind is considered as jadam. Iti. And this is temporary. It's dependent, it's temporary. Let me see if I missed out anything. I was planning on this or some other. Okay. Of course, it's limited. Limited in space, limited in time. Yeah. It is limited. Object, jada, changing temperature as attributes dependent. Yeah, I think I've covered whatever I wanted to cover. This is the nature of body and mind. And it is object. Whereas now look at the nature of consciousness. It is unborn, doesn't have Shadvikaras. Okay? No Shadvikaras. No change. No attributes. It's completely the opposite.
Opposite. Yeah.
The most important thing here is it is independent. Etad vilakshanas sakshi. Independent.
Good.
It is swatantra. So this business we have to do daily, independent. Okay, we have to see these facts every day. And do lots of japa. Independent. Okay. It's not temporary. It is eternal. Eternally unchanging. Unchangingly eternal. And unlimited. Okay. So any quality of the mind which we see will have all these features. Whether it is sadness, whether it is discontentment, whether it is anger, whether it is desire, all these qualities which we don't like, greed, jealousy, whatever it may be, the qualities that we don't like, they all come under this. And eventually they all come under jada. Iti. Yeah. So now I'm just showing you how is it possible to say I am sad. Because the I am is all of this. How can we put sadness with I am? This is what Shastra is pointing out. That there has been a big error. It's a huge error has taken place. And how can we get out of the error? By keeping on seeing this fact. Go on seeing the fact. And do lots of japa. Because japa makes, it very thin, no? Iti. Yeah? Go on seeing this fact. See the impossibility first of all. This is why, this, I think Shankara takes the Adhyasa Bhashya, the impossibility of this. Yushma Dashmat Pratyaya Gochara Yoho. It is impossible, like putting light and darkness together. And therefore, it must be separated. Iti. We have lumped it together. It must. Normal lumping, it doesn't matter too much, but especially when things like I am sad, I am sad, that sad grief is one of the biggest things which human being has. So one needs to see the impossibility of it, Oh my God, what have I done? You will say, oh my, this is impossible. How have I done this? Iti. Terrible handwriting, no? I hope. Okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to this. Luckily nowadays it shows us this, page 1 of 1. Yeah, so it will save it. It has saved it already. This diagram has been saved. So I'm stopping it. Yeah, a whole class is gone in this only, but it's so important. That's why it's okay. So Swamiji says here, Viveka means separating the upadhi, the limiting factor, from the upahita, that which appears limited. So I'm not the bhuta gana, na chaksha ganaha, I'm not the group of sense organs. Why? Because they are drishya. Not only they are drishya, they are completely opposite. They have got birth and death, they are dependent, they are limited, they are changing, they are temporary. All of these factors are there, and therefore I am different. Now Swamiji takes a very beautiful portion. Non-duality is in spite of, we didn't do this. No, the problem is superposition upon I. I'm going on saying from there only. Okay, uncle, you read. 148 page.
147.
146.
The reason for superimposition.
Oh, we from there itself. I am so happily gone on ahead. Okay, the reason for superimposition.
Yeah.
Okay, then I will
Page
read
147.
I'll read this. The superimposition occurs because there's a very special relationship between the self and the body-mind complex, also known as gross and subtle bodies. This relationship is likened to the relationship between a clear crystal and a colored object such as a piece of cloth. When the cloth is placed behind a transparent crystal, it makes the crystal appear colored. The cloth does not actually make the crystal colored, of course, which is saving grace. If the cloth actually transformed the crystal into a certain color, there would be nothing you could do because that would become its nature. But the crystal merely appears red or whatever the color is. What is in the vicinity projects its attributes upon something that is without attributes. Very important line. What is in the vicinity projects its attributes upon something that is without attributes. If the crystal had its own color, nothing would happen because it would have its own attribute and therefore could not be affected. But since the crystal has no color of its own, the cloth creates an appearance of that color on the crystal. This is possible only because the crystal is nirvishesha, without attributes. Similarly, I am has no attributes at all. Atma is like the crystal. Iti, colorless, transparent, ever pure, attributeless. The body mind sense complex and its attributes are like the cloth behind the crystal. The gross and the subtle body are attributes. Fatness belongs to the gross body, and happiness, etc., belongs to the subtle body, the mind. In Vedanta, we call these as upadhis, limiting factors. The cloth becomes the upadhi of the crystal because crystal has no color. So, crystal, and therefore the cloth appears to make the crystal of one color, and therefore it limits it. Crystal has no color, and therefore it can take on any color. But once you put a cloth in front of that crystal, crystal looks like it is that color, therefore it is called upadhi, that which limits the crystal. When it is, the cloth becomes the upadhi of the crystal when it as though imposes its color upon the crystal and makes the crystal appear colored. I have something which may pass for a crystal. Let me see. Unfortunately, इसके अंदर एक दूसरा क्रिस्टल पड़ा है. But look at that. मैं इधर डालती हूँ तो ऑरेंज.
Yes.
ठीक है?
I can see orange, yes.
हाँ. But now when you look at it, it has got no color. इसमें कोई कलर है ही नहीं.
हाँ, अब नहीं है. हाँ.
ठीक है? So that's the thing. Okay. Similarly, the gross and subtle bodies are upadhis which as though impose their attributes upon the self. They do not actually impose attributes upon the self, they only create an appearance. But someone who doesn't know the crystal will think that the crystal is red or blue or yellow. Similarly, one who doesn't know the self thinks that the self is fat or lean, happy or unhappy. This is how the problems are created. Okay, uncle, now you read.
The problem is superimposition upon I.
Haan.
In I am itself, there is no problem. And in fat, there is no problem. The problem lies in I am fat. It is like the crystal has no problem and color has no problem, but the crystal is grey colored is where the problem lies. To know the crystal, all you need to do is to separate them and recognize that even when the crystal appears colored, the color does not belong to crystal.
Yes. Okay.
Similarly, recognize that the tall, short, or happy, sad does not belong to I am. It is an appearance, not a reality. Separating the crystal from the color is called viveka. This separation takes place in the mind. There is a way by which this color can be completely avoided and the crystal can be appreciated as it is. Even when the crystal appears colored in your mind, you can separate the two and recognize that even though the crystal appears colored, in reality it is transparent, colorless, and pure. Viveka means separating the upadhi, the limiting factor, from the upahit, that which appears limiting. That is why the teacher says, Na aham bhutam bhuta gano deha. I am not the body made of 5 elements. Process is more negation than assertion. Similarly, naham
Chakshaganaha.
Chakshaganaha. I am not the group of sense organs and the mind. Why? Because both of them are drishya, objects of perception, and I am the subject.
Yes, so important this line. Because they are drishya, objects of perception, and I am the subject. Okay. Anita?
Yes. non-duality is in spite of apparent duality. Now, non-duality is in spite of
in spite of apparent duality.
In spite of apparent duality.
Just 1 minute, huh? कुसुम मेरी क्लास चल रही है, हाँ मैं उसके बाद फोन करूंगी। मैं काम था आपसे। हाँ हाँ मैं करूंगी, अभी 10 मिनट में हो जाएगी। हाँ
The subject the subject is always different from the object. We are not saying that the object is different from the subject. However, Atma is always different from Anatma. But what is Anatma is not different from Atma. If Anatma is different from Atma, we have duality. But here there is non-duality in spite of apparent duality.
Yes.
Are there really two entities, Atma and Anatma? Atma is different from Anatma. So does it mean that Anatma is different reality? No. Anatma is not different from Atma. We will come to that. But right now, let us focus on the fact that the Atma is different from Anatma. I am not the gross body or the subtle body. I am Vilakshana of an altogether opposite nature. I am Vilakshana. Lakshana means distinguishing mark, a characteristics, and Vilakshana means one who is altogether different or contrary in nature. The gross body is an object, whereas I am the subject. The gross body has birth and death, meaning it is limited in time. I am free from limitations in the time. The gross body is limited in place. It is at one place at one time. I am devoid of the limitation of place, etc. Whatever attributes this gross or subtle body have, I am the one with opposite attributes. These two things cannot combine, and in fact only appear to be combined. We will see more on this later. The first question in verse 12 was Koham, who am I? The answer to that was given here in verse 13. The next question in verse 12 was Katham idam jatam. How was the universe born? Here also there are different opinions by different thinkers. Just as different thinkers have different opinions about the self, so also there are different opinions about the cause of the creation.
Yeah, so I think that part was okay, that there are not two entities, Atma and Anatma, because while Atma is different from Anatma, Anatma is just Nama Rupa of Atma. Iti. And that we can immediately see actually because of the Sat aspect which is there in everything. Sat means isness, no? So even if you look at your body, you will say skin is, you will say flesh is, bone is, nail is, nose is, eyes, R is the same as is. So eye is, ear is, lip is, teeth is, body is. Then let's come to the breath is, mind is, emotion is, thought is, ego is. The isness is there everywhere. In and through the creation, everything declares its existence, as is, door is, wall is, clock is. I'm looking at your room, TV is. That isness is declaring itself everywhere. It's Nama Rupa. Nama Rupa of what? Of Atma. Iti. Therefore, Anatma is not different from Atma. But Atma is different from Anatma iti. But here he is looking only at the first part, which is that Atma is different from Anatma. Yeah. And then he says, next question is, where did this Jagat come from? And for that, many different theories are there. I don't even understand their theories. Anyway, let's look at it. One group of thinkers in ancient India were called the Vaisheshikas, the atomists. They said that the universe is made up of atoms. Atoms are the irreducible finest particles. When you take a piece of matter and keep on dividing it until you come to a point at which you cannot divide further, that indivisible unit is called an atom. This is what Newton thought also. The Vaisheshikas said, Prithivyadi bhutani karyatvat swaswa paramanabhyo jayante. Earth, water, fire, all these great elements are born from their cause, which they called paramanus or atoms. There is a fundamental atom called earth, one fundamental atom called fire, another one called water, another one called space, etc. When the pralaya or dissolution takes place, the whole universe reduces to these 5 atoms, which are totally separate from each other. When the creation takes place, they start combining and the whole universe is created. This is one view, namely that atoms are the material cause of the universe. The Vaisheshikas and the Naiyayikas, the logicians, who are also known as Tarkikas because they go by Tarka, reasoning alone. This is as far as you can go with science also. Science goes to the level of particles such as a boson particle. Scientists are also Tarkikas in that they rely on perception and inference. The traditional Tarkikas are Vaidikas, so they accept Vedas also. But their conclusions are arrived at by Tarka. Then there are Mimamsakas, who are so called because they rely on Mimamsa, which is an examination of the Vedic texts. The Mimamsakas are Vaidikas, staunch ritualists who say that this universe is born from karma. This makes sense because when you perform a karma, there has to be a result. Through your karma, you produce your own little universe around you. And by the collective karma of all the jivas, living beings, the whole universe is created. The next group mentioned are the Sankhyas. They say that the cause of the universe is pradhana, primordial matter, which consists of 3 gunas, factors called sattva, rajas, and tamas. They claim that these 3 gunas are the fundamental material cause of the universe and are evident everywhere. These were the prevailing views about the cause of universe, and the Vedantins' reply to them is given in the next verse. So in verse 14, Ajnana Prabhavam Sarvam
Ajnana Prabhavam Sarvam
Jnanena Praviliyate
Jnanena Praviliyate
Sankalpo Vividakarta
Sankalpo Vividakarta
Vicharasoyamidrishaha.
Vicharasoyamidrisha.
We just look at the meaning of the verse and then we can stop. Ajnana Prabhavam means born of ignorance. Okay. Sarvam, of course, is everything, the universe. Jnanena, by knowledge. Praviliyate, disappears. Sankalpaha means the desire or intent. Vividaha, manifold. Karta, creator. Vichara, inquiry. Saha, it. I am this. Idrishaha, manner. The universe is born of ignorance. Okay. So, Sarvam Ajnana Prabhavam. The universe is born of ignorance and it disappears by knowledge. Jnanena Praviliyate. The manifold desires. And why are they there? Because they are caused by ignorance. Once you have ignorance of yourself being Purna, you will have desire to be Purna. So the manifold desires caused by ignorance are its creator. It meaning the universe's creator. This is the manner of inquiry. And this we will see next time. So Swami Paramathanandaji's, very small notes are there on this Aparokshanubhuti. So I have put that for this verse and the
Yeah, you
previous
sent
verse.
it. Yes.
I've sent it. So you can look at that. But Swamiji goes in great detail. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. We keep singing every day we do Aarti, no? So there's one line in that Aarti. We sing that Jyot se Jyot jagao.
Yeah, yes.
Yuga yuga se antar mein soi chiti shakti ko jagao.
Chit Shakti.
Chiti Shakti ko jagao, Sadguru Jyot se Jyot. So it's literally, we have all been sleeping in ignorance. Aisi Jyot jale hridaye mein soham naad jagao.
Naad jagao.
Very nice, no?
This is
Sadguru
my
Jyot se Jyot jagao. So every day we sing this.
Thursday morning Guru Puja, I sing this.
Okay. Here we have Aarti, no, every evening. So every
Every,
evening the
yes.
Aarti is with this only. Okay. Okay. Om Hare Om. That's it. Bye.
Oh.
Om.
I also do Aarti. This.
Hmm.
Jyot se Jyot.
Thank you very much, Guru Ma.